They threw a lot of ultis at Rika there. A lot of ultis. All three of them were just like, Akali, kill. Instantly, everything thrown at the Akali, and Rika, you know, does fall. They do pick up 1-1-3, and they do get this Rift Herald. It's a beneficial trade for BDSA. Honestly, just the comedic effect of a sort of 70% HP Akali dashing in and then immediately getting triple.
I think important to note is, in terms of building towards that soul condition, BDS Academy are going to be slightly slow now. That is going to be helped by the fact that Akali has teleported down now, but you see O1 moving as well. BDS Academy are actually going to be able to contest this. You would have thought that might be a difficulty for them.
Reckless based. You know, already as this Drake is spawning, they can't really contest this. Outside of 1-1-3 just randomly stealing this, just really bad timers across the board that, you know, all very well and good that Reckless got his reset and is all powerful for the next fight. They're not going to be able to force one. There's no objective for a little bit now.
Yeah, and you talk about a momentum shift. You were expecting there at least Carmine Corp able to find the 1-for-1, able to find a trade here, but this Academy actually walk away with everything here. They get the Rift Herald, they get the 1-for-1, and they get the Dragon as well, which stops that win condition from building up. It's a really big momentum shift in this game.
Yeah, those were so a really good sequence of about 90 seconds for BDS Academy, and sort of against the grain as well. Weren't expecting that to be the case, you know, and it all just sort of came from 1-1-3 backing on a ward, and then after that, they were able to, like you say, find Herald, find Drake, yada yada, so on and so forth, where they are now, which is with that Rift Herald, with that Dragon having slowed down the win condition. And I think that Carmine Corp, you know, with a little bit of an oversight, honestly, they are going to be looking forward, looking for that soul, so that their, you know, Swain has a fairly decent time of things, so that their Ornn is incredibly tanky, with, you know, a couple extra mounting dragons on top. But what's happening right now is that they can use this Rift Herald in the top lane if they fancy. Oh, never mind. They already popped it down somewhere to take turret's top lane. You can see Adam working away on that one.
Yeah, he's whittling away at that turret. It's around about 30% HP or so, maybe even lower. Maybe the game plan for them. But in terms of, like, you talked about that just now, Carmine Corp, what do they need to do now?
Still try and find fights. I think that still right now they are stronger. They've got Misfortune Spike of 2 items. Granted, you would want Muramana to be there, and I think that when you hit Cyrilda's on Misfortune is when you sort of hit the apex of your power as a champion. That and when you finish Eclipse are like your 2 biggest points. Once that Muramana gets completed and you have that 3rd item, you should go.
She was waiting in the wings here. Seiken's going to find him. Dragon Drag has to come out here, but it's an ultimate onto Seiken. Seiken is going low, but he's going to have so much healing now. How much time can he buy? Has that Ignite ticking on him, but not anymore. Me an ult for an ult trade in the end.
Yeah, the final chapter comes down. Swain no ulti means that he's now a much more insignificant threat as you look toward any team that look to take. Carmine Corp overloading on one side, going for these map raids more so than anything else. Tier 1 what is likely to be a lot of all around that bot side, and TP to prevent bot tier 1 from going down. Have a shard, teleport, and defense against Rika.
Yeah, that's obviously going to mean he's not going to have it available when that Baron becomes a point of contention for this game. But it is good to stem some of the outer turrets that are going down. All the side of it is coming.
At that point then, now is when Carmine Corp may just look to, you know, match up in the right. We have Cabo Shard down here, you have Adam down here, and then you just look to start hitting a Baron in a 4v4 and try and force Adam TP, and then try and get back out to safety. That tends to be how you try and generate a TP back, if that makes sense. Get that cooldown back off when available, or it just means that Carmine Corp can't really play too proactively around the map for the next 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, completely agree with you, Rude Dude. I think that is going to be the case. It's going to be difficult for them to stop that from happening. In terms of some crucial item spikes, what are some of these champions looking for?
We touched on the Misfortune 3rd item. Swain is honestly, again, at his apex, really. Really looking pretty good for where he's going to be. Zonya's Hourglass picked up. Looking at about as good as Swain tends to get in the mid game. I think that for BDSA, the Renekton hitting that point as well potentially gets a GA in there, and that's like your really big point for Adam. Crowny, every single item, excuse me, every single item that an Ezreal gets just increases his power tenfold. Like, he's at a really good point right now, but every item he gets after this, it improves his power even more. The Akali as well, a little bit of the same.
Rika's used this E already. Hantera comes around. This is going to be the ultimate coming out from Reckless as well. Can they find him? Flash out here. Provolt is going to mean he goes into the Shroud as well, but the knock up. Rika's going so low here. Can he get out? The auto from Reckless seals his fate there. It's an important kill onto Rika with so much burn. And how do they, can they pivot towards the Baron is the question.
I think they should. They should hit this and like force TP out of Adam at the very least. Try and turn away. Instead, they're not going to expend the move. They're going to try and defend their mid tier 1. Make sure that that's not given over in response. And ultimately, it's just a kill for a bot lane tier 1 turret. Maybe they could have got a little bit more out of this, but they're trying to set up for this Drake which spawns in 30 seconds instead. If they'd have made a misstep around the Baron, would have cost them this dragon. And you can see, I imagine at least, Carmine Corp prioritizing this Drake set themselves up for the sole win condition, which they should have done about 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, as you can see Adam teleporting in here, it is the case they've shifted their attentions towards this. You see both teams battling off for this mid priority. So who's going to get the first entry? It is BDS Academy that have the ability to force the issue here. See Shio in here. Adam gets engaged on. Not much damage being done onto him. Does have that ultimate available.
Importantly, though, look at the cooldowns of Carmine Corp. Reckless, bullet time ticking up. Similarly, the Cataclysm not quite available yet. They need to stall a little bit before they can take this fight.
Let's buy a little bit of time. Adam goes into his ultimate now. They have a lot of time to buy now. Dragon is on.
Also now back.
So now back for Carmine Corp. Dragon's going quite low now. 113 needs to find position here. Ornalt goes down. Rika's in the backline with the Yumi. Dragon does go down, but it's a lot of damage from Rika. Rika's gone absolutely massive in the backline. He finds an R2 of Doom. He's found one. Hantera goes down as well. Cabashot's ticking down. Saken's doing a lot of damage now. There's not an ignite available for him. How much can Crowny do? He's onto Cabashot now, rattling away those Qs, but it's going to be Cabashot walking away. Dragon was gained by BDS Academy and 3 kills as well.
Huge fight by BDS Academy. Rika just destroys the backline of Carmine Corp. They had nothing to say about that. Reckless still has his ulti, still wants to fire the bullet time, but cannot from the grave. Truly exquisite team fighting from BDSA. And we talked about Rika being the sort of linchpin of BDSA in their losses. He's looking like he could try and win them the game this time out.
This is a really crucial E. We saw the E onto 113. It looked like it was really difficult for him to get much done here, but this R2 just decimates Hantera 113, means it's very easy to follow up. Seiken survives for so much of this and is doing so much in terms of just being alive, being a threat, being a nuisance. But with the rest of his team dying around him, it's not really much he was able to do. Massive from Rika.
And just a Yumi diff right now. You know, we're talking about Seiken being alive that whole time. The health bars of BDSA, you couldn't tell that there was an angry 2-item Swain just in the midst of them for that entire team fight. They kind of just ignored him, and they got away with it quite well. This is a fairly low damage build from Seiken. It's worth noting that, you know, as far as your AP items go, Everfrost, Zonya's, Morello's is about the lowest item or lowest damage item build you can go for. This is very supportive style of, I will be a frontline, I need my team still to do damage. You look at the rest of Carmine Corp, they've got a Jarvan, not a damage dealer in the late game. They've got a Misfortune, 1 bullet, one button damage. And if that button doesn't get pressed, the damage from Carmine Corp doesn't exist.
Yeah, I do think that is a real concern for Carmine Corp, as you've just said. But I think in terms of you look at the other side, Rika has a lot of damage. Vega has that ability to do a lot of damage, especially with the ability of his team to take down enemy opponents, and that Ezreal is going to continue to ramp up. So would you say it's fair to say that although there is a lot of scaling options for Carmine Corp, there is some danger for them even in the later stages of this game?
I would go as far as to say they don't have scaling options. I really don't like their scaling on this team. They're, like I say, Swain, not the greatest late game champion, particularly when we've got this style of build path. Misfortune can 1v9 a team fight in the late game, don't get me wrong, but it requires so much setup and such control around this ulti.
They have started the Baron now.
Immediately peeled off of, apparently. And I think the scaling is better for BDSA. I think that they've got better chances in this late game if they can play around the Misfortune ult.
That is the case. That it's kind of a one-hit wonder that they have to go for Carmine Corp. I think it's important to note that I don't think if Swain gets some of these later game items, he's going to be a bit more useful than you're perhaps giving him credit for. But I think the general gist of what you're saying is true. BDS Academy, more options in terms of what they can provide potentially. So it's a case of whether they can do that. Rika has to do a lot in these team fights, but he has been your man to do a lot in these team fights throughout this game and in other games. He's been a person that steps up on numerous occasions for BDS Academy. And whether or not he can continue to do that, we will be seeing in this next Dragon fight, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I don't think that Carmine Corp wants to give this one up. I don't think they wanted to give any up, honestly. They get them, that third Dragon I feel was a real misstep, but not to hop back to the defense. forward? How do they try to get the game back in favor? And they were looking toward that Baron to try and do it. Dream Race got out to stop a recall, or to protect a recall. Was then left on his own for a little bit, but does manage to get out to safety. Slight concerns that there was a potential catch out angle for Hantera. Looks like they're setting up around this bot side though. That Baron is still up, so they do need to make sure that they have some sort of vision around there to make sure that that doesn't fall. But the final resets come through. 1 minute left on that Drake. Everybody back up, restock, get your wards, get your pinks, get your control wards ready to go. Another fight almost going to be looming around this dragon. Habashad going to do the same thing, and with our top laners both having TP, they're not pressured to do this. But if they want to keep those cooldowns, they kind of are.
Yeah, when you're getting towards these kind of margins in the game, there's these timers. When you get that penultimate dragon, that point 1 away from Soul, you start to get a lot more options. We spoke about this in week 1, Rude Dude, how when you've got that, you don't necessarily have to go for the Soul. You can trade down the Baron and still be fine and buying yourself another 5 minutes.
Exactly, and particularly in this game when neither team is threatening a Soul right now, either one of the two are quite happy to just back away and try and force a Baron.
It is BDS Academy that has position on here. Teleport does come down. Here comes Rika. What can he do? He's gone into Seiken almost immediately. Goes into Shroud now. R2 is primed. They've been all walked out of this choke here. But here comes the Ornhorn onto Shio. What can they find in terms of the engage? Ultimate comes out in response. Bullet time has been used, and it has not done much. That one form of utility that we spoke about, the damage threat from Carmine Corp, has been used to no avail now. Rika doesn't have the ultimate, but still has a lot of damage, can still buy a lot of time in these team fights. Crownie is in the back line as well. Dragon is around 3,000.
Still available for Carmine Corp.
It's important to note. This goes very low here. The smite is secured now. Ezreal's the one who gets it. And now Yuumi ult's coming down now, 1-1-3. Pressured out a little bit, but they're going to walk away from the dragon. Job done for BDS Academy.
Yeah, now they need to be careful that there's no Baron response. There is the pink ward on it, so they're going to know if Carmine Corp opts to go towards it. So the information is there, and yeah, it's just a successful Drake take for BDSA. They, going to lose some top camps, but put themselves on Soul Point, and a really nice little scuffle around the dragon. They get all of the ults that they need to. They use Rika ulti to effectively force Seiken to burn his. The Ornhorn as well, really not hitting the mark. Bullet time, the same sort of story. Crownie just able to Mystic Arcane Shift away, and overall, good baiting of cooldowns, good exchangements, and again, this is recognizing what your enemy team wants to do in terms of what we were looking to expect from these teams with semi-finals previously for the two organizations. A dead even game at 28.5 minutes seems pretty fitting.
I think definitely fitting. I think it is important to note that I feel like the pressure is somewhat mounting for Carmine Corp in terms of how these last few fights have been going. It was the case that Carmine Corp were kind of forcing the issue towards the earlier stages of the game. BDS Academy kind of clawing their way back through some of these objectives, building back the last 3 dragons. If it continues to be the case, you get one more dragon, that mountainside, that could really be the tipping point in terms of this game.
Yeah, and then you find those big engages. All of a sudden, it doesn't particularly matter because there's a big mountain shield that's absorbed. We will sort of have to wait and see whether or not those eventualities come to fruition. I want to point out quickly Shio's item build. Force of Nature, second item to pretty much immune any damage coming through from Seiken. And make sure that this Ornn as well, also not too much threat. Make sure that we don't see an engagement here. He's very close.
Quite close. Yuumi ult does come out here though. Hantera's been stunned up. Bullet time has come out. Shio takes a lot of damage here. He has a Yuumi on. He's gone into stasis now with the stopwatch. Seiken is massive in this fight. Adam is trying to stop Cabochard, but 1-1-3 is taken out by Rika. Rika's come up huge here. Reckless is getting stunned out by Adam. Seiken has to flash over the wall here. Can he find the Yi? Shio as well. Seiken's going low. Rika's come up for a double kill now. Goes into stasis. Adam comes in. Gets the stun onto Hantera. He's gone quite low now. Reckless is doing a lot of damage. Here comes Ezreal. It's getting healed up by the Yuumi now, but it's a rather even fight so far. 2 for 2. Rika getting 2 kills, but Reckless doing a lot on the back foot.
Yeah, just a slight overreach there by Adam. Goes too far forward, gets caught out there on the re-engage as he's trying to just bait Carmine Corp in. They got 1-1-3, they got Seiken, they'd won the fight, but he goes too far forward and just overestimates himself just a little bit too much. And not able to get away with the overextension there, and Reckless, like we know he can, just consistently pumping out damage, making sure that he is constantly nailing as much as possible every single time. This is the replay of that fight we saw Hantera. Very close proximity here. And once again, Reckless bullet time onto Shio. He ducks out, gets out to safety, and now we're in a pretty difficult spot. And Terra goes for the engage onto Rika, who is already away from that engagement, makes it so Carmine Corp shouldn't win this fight. Seiken with a really good flash, you know, buys a lot of time down on this bot side. They take down Seiken, but then look at Adam here. Just overreaches. At this point, BDS have won. He goes too far forward, and importantly, knockup cancels him. I think that there's a double up that comes through that takes down Rika as well, sort of sacrificing 2 for 1 off the play.
Yeah, it's a real shame. You feel like there was almost a bit of a disconnect between the top laner and the rest of the team there in the terms of just the target selection. He flashes onto Reckless with the 3-man unit. Potentially should have been turning back on towards the Swain. It does mean that a fight that could have gone really well for BDS Academy doesn't, but here comes the Ornhorn. Cabochard can't find anyone.
Only forced to flash though. Sort of arcane shifting in the face of an Ornn. A little bit, a little bit weird, and goes punished. Crownie, quite rightly, now without flash. Now has to
That's quite important for this next dragon.
Sorry?
It's quite important for this next dragon, the fact that Crownie won't have this flash.
Yeah, that's certainly something to keep our eyes on. That was, you know, one cooldown that they had effectively. Nobody else has anything except Crownie had both his sums. Now, without a heal, it is going to be looking to potentially stay alive with that. Important to note as well, then, at that same token, Carmine Corp got 4 out of 5 flashes. Terra finding an engage. Very high possibility when he's got that flash available. Everybody else is really struggling for it, and now Rika gets chunked before the Drake. This could just be the dragon going to pick Carmine Corp now.
Yeah, Ornhorn is about 2/3 of the way from coming back. 14 seconds or so might be getting it almost back up. It's another case of Carmine Corp want to maybe wait for that cooldown to come back up. But the Drake is spawning 5 seconds or so. This is a lot different to other setups we've seen. It's Carmine Corp that can force the issue on this dragon. It's not been the case for the last 3 dragons. Can Crownie even get into this fight? Adam, reaching that point now. It's hard to have utility in these fights. Look at this flank from Rika. Rika's coming on the flank now. How much can he do? The dragon's whittling down, though. They might need to turn onto it. Adam has the Yuumi onto him. He's looking for an engage now. It's going to be Rika in the backline, but he's being caught up. Has to go into stasis. He couldn't find the flank that he wanted. It is going to be the Soul. It is going to be Rika getting turned down, but the Soul does get taken. Now it's just on BDS Academy to try and find their way out here. Ornn has gotten the teleport here to get a flank. Adam has to walk a different direction. It's going to be Crownie. Has to be over the wall here. Shio's going to get stunned up here. Crownie gets found. That flash is so crucial from before. It means he gets taken by Reckless. And the Soul goes down, but it is 2 kills going in the favor of KC, and they are going to walk towards the Baron now, presumably.
Exactly. What else can they get? Shio still available with Yuumi, with Adam. Very beefy front line to be presented for the Viego. Potentially they could try and dissuade this Baron from coming through. Mid-tier 1 almost certainly is going to go begging, but that will be a happy sacrifice that Carmine Corp will make. Engaging onto Cabochard now, Baron getting taken down.
This Baron's at around about 7k HP now. It's not going to be the case with Shio and Yuumi. These aren't your champions, especially with this build. They're going to be able to do much. It's going to be additional kills here. How much time can Yuumi buy for Shio here? His life is dwindling. His life goes down. Rika is here, but how much would it mean? It's going to be a very good route from Seiken. Bullet time gets cancelled. Rika coming out of the Shroud now. Can't be found after the R2. There's going to be another kill, but have they bought time for this Baron? Is this now dangerous for Carmine Corp to go towards?
I think BDSA have to give this one up. Reckless is still full HP, still has a lot of damage to give.
Adam's going to be ulting here. Carmine Corp utilize that Ornhorn. Adam's able to dodge out here. Rika is still here. He doesn't have ult. It is the case now with Crownie in co. Crownie in tandem. They do manage to stop this, and a little bit more time being bought. BDS Academy.
So they do get off the Baron then. BDSA able to do just enough. Just forcing and stepping forward, and overall then, in the overarching play, we've had 2 minutes of action, it feels like. BDSA that come out on top. They secure the dragon, they only lose 1 for it. They stop the Baron, they only lose 1 for that. We've got everybody resetting, setting back up out onto the map. Should be BDSA with this advantage going into these exchanges. That Mountain Soul is going to make it so much more difficult for Carmine Corp to find those engagements, to find those successfully, and then try and chase down 1 target. Important differentiations right now. Extra level. Never mind, Rika just hit level 16. He didn't have rank 3 ulti. He does now. So great. Level 3 ulti for Akali. Going to be very important, very impactful. A lot of damage to come from that. Reckless full build on the Misfortune is as high capability as possible, unless he sells boots. Keep your eyes on him as well to do the damage.
Yeah, Reckless being full build, absolutely massive. Has that Chem Punk, great sword to kind of dissuade a lot of the healing. You also see the Thornmail as well, although I don't massively agree with it being fully built. I think you kind of have to at this point. But some of the healing from BDS Academy going to be at least stemmed to an extent. Whether or not that makes an impact, we'll have to see. The Mountain Soul going to be adding a lot of utility to what they can do. You can see this is the eternal dance that we'll be seeing at this point. Engages in both regards. Rika gets engaged onto again. He tries to find the R2, tries to find the ult, but he can't quite do it. He now has the E onto 113. His mind is telling him no.
They burn on Horn, and they only have to use Dominus for it. They also got inside track on mid lane. Rika still has ult. Dreamer Ace and Shio also still with that tool available.
1-1-3 over the wall here, but he gets stunned. A lot of damage onto him now. Going to be using the Gore Drinker. Seiken goes into ultimate. He has in the stasis now. He flashes away now. Can he find any routes to maneuver themselves forward? 1-1-3 finds a flash onto Crowny. It's a flash in response, but he's going to get taken out. The flash and drag that you had earlier does not bear you many fruits now, and it's going to mean that BDS Academy can move towards this Baron.
Wow. Yeah, and Crowny with the great bait and switch, I guess. Arcane Shift in front of 113. 113 sees it, snaps on him, takes the engage back. But Crowny flashes out to safety. He's got Yumi on his back as well. Now Baron up against BDS Academy. Carmen Cup still with 4 members strong. Still want to go. Ornhorn, 15 seconds away. Bullet time. Not ready. BDSA, they're looking to take this one down. Rika is using Dreamer Ace as a zoning tool. BDSA, they're going to get this.
Academy going to get it. It's going to be KC walking away now. The Mountain Soul and the Baron, 2 very important instruments for BDS Academy to be able to close out this game now. Carmine Corp, what answers are there?
And I think that the answers are now not particularly there. It's if BDSA Academy can leverage this Baron plus their soul that they have into an Elder Drake. Elder Drake is the big win condition for them here. We've seen them struggle so many times to find cohesive, constructive fights where they've been able to demolish Carmine Club. Every single fight has been on a knife's edge. Whoever gets this Elder is going to get that combat buff to pop them over the edge and push them to a winning team fight position. You want to give the advantage over to BDSA with the Baron, with the Mountain Soul, but they'll be able to now push their waves in. With those pushed waves, they can control the vision around the jungle and make it more and more difficult Carmine Cup to get in position to contest this Elder Dragon. BDSA should have control. Let's see if they can use it.
I think important to note now is that stopwatch in Ezreal's inventory. Obviously, Crowny not having that flash available, but we'll have a little bit of a safety net in terms of any engages that he might be getting caught out on. Potential Rakan having that flash is important now. Both of these waves, top and bot stacking now, is going to mean it's hard for Carmine Corp to find their way into this. They're going to have to force it.
There's a pink quad there, Shio. Be careful. Just have Yumi if Dream Race wants to get off of Crowny and heal up to Viego just to not ready for this engagement that we assume is coming. 20 seconds on that Elder. You can see BDSA have done exactly what they were supposed to. Set up mid, set up bot lane, control vision around that bot side, but KC always looking to get vision down themselves.
Absolutely, and they have got complete control here. Adam is stopping them from getting in this choke. Shio the other. Seiken's going to come around the side now. It's going to be difficult for them to get into this pit. Important to note is once they pivot onto that, it's a decision that's being made. They're going to be taking damage from it. And that might be Carmine Corp's in.
That's what's important. It's engagement.
Seiken gets engaged onto now. He's going to go rather low. Stasis is available for him. A Yumi ult is coming now. Rika has the ability to go at a moment's notice. Adam is going rather low now. He's going to get taken down into the GA now, but Ezreal has found Hantera. But the bullet time does find Rika. He was such a key member for them. Adam's getting slowed out of the GA. He's going to get taken down as well. This is a massive fight for Carmine Corp. Shio's gone in as well. He goes into GA. Crowny has so much to do here. Has the Yumi in tandem, but it's not going to be enough. And a crucial error by BDS. They had all the control, but they just throw it away.
50 seconds. They need to go mid lane. This is 50-second death timers.
And Crowny goes for an ultimate here, but he gets taken down as well. He's staring at the headlights of Carmine Corp. They found everyone. They found an ace. They might have just found the game here, rude dude.
They have a truly nail-biting game. Carmine Corp and BDSA giving to and fro time and time again. And in the end, it was just that one-click button. Reckless finds Rika, and the teamfight never looks the same. Seiken able to buy the time in the front line. Zhonya's plus Swain. The same thing we talked about the entire draft. Can't dive into a Swain. It never goes well for you. BDS Academy, they found out the hard way. Seiken buys all the time in the front line, and Reckless does all the damage from the back. Able to find their win, keep themselves renewed at a 3-1 record, but it was so close.
I don't have much to say, rude dude. I'm in shock. This was I can't really emphasize this enough. this was Carmine Corp's game to lose, and it looked very difficult for them to be able to, once they gave away